welcome to Prime Property, your weekly real estate reckoner. I'm Nayantara Rai and this is what we have on the show today. This election season, we do a realty check of Vadodara, one of the two cities Narendra Modi will stand from as a BJP Prime Ministerial candidate. Joint ventures, project launches, private equity investments have all flooded the market. But is this just a pre-election rally that has got the industry excited? We answer viewer queries on Property Doctor this week with Prop Tiger. Election fever grips prime property. Earlier this week, the BJP's Prime Ministerial candidate Narendra Modi filed his nomination from Vadodara, and we took that as a cue to travel there for a realty check. The third largest city in Gujarat after Ahmedabad and Surat, Vadodara is mainly an industrial tier 2 city and often referred to as the state capital for chemical industries. IOC's second largest refinery at Vadodara's outskirts feeds several petchem, pharma and fertilizer units. Companies like Reliance Industries, Sun Pharma all have a big base here. Global giants Bombardier, Alstom and GM also have a large presence. In a nutshell, the economic fundamentals are in place for a sound property market. In fact, even the retail segment of the property market has seen plenty of traction. For a small city, it does have many malls. To name a few, Vadodara Central, Cosmos and MQ. A Reliance mall is set to open shortly. Vadodara is mainly an end-user market and the phenomenon of multi-story departments took its time to reach the city. There are still no big pan-India developers in Vadodara. It's a market made of local builders and developers. Over the last decade, the city has been expanding from all four directions, leading to a price appreciation that has now firmed up at an average of 2,500 to 3,000 rupees a square foot. CommonFlow.com tells Prime Property sales have been relatively low in Vadodara over the last 3 to 4 months on account of the general elections. Even though small transactions have taken place, major land transactions are in the pipeline, owing to which no major development has taken place. CommonFlow says at least 75% of the transactions in the pipeline are waiting for the new government. All in all, the market is stable and is likely to grow post-elections, the pace of which will be determined by Narendra Modi's political fortunes. CommonFlow says there has been a price correction of 10 to 15% in some localities over the last 3 to 4 months in the city. This is relatively better than most other cities in the state, including Ahmedabad, which has seen prices dip by almost 25%. Vadodara, like other cities in Gujarat, has a very high demand from NRIs. CommonFlow adds the propensity to hold on to properties in Vadodara is higher than Mumbai, Delhi, the National Capital Region or Bangalore, and thus fares far better during a realty slowdown. Another trend worth discussing is the high demand for houses on rent. The high rental demand is on account of increasing economic activity such as in Savli Industrial Zone, home to Bombardier and Thermax. The same trend is seen at the outskirts in Halol and Kalol, where the likes of GM, Sun Pharma, Siat and Nagarjuna Fertilizer have a large base. Local brokers say there's a good opportunity for HNIs to consider industrial corridors to buy budget houses in bulk to rent out to companies or even look at guest houses and serviced apartments. Vadodara has ambitions of becoming an IT hub. The city is seen as a direct beneficiary of the MOUs signed for IT at the last Vibrant Gujarat, and Vadodara's northern part of the city has already been notified as an IT zone. With good infrastructure already in place, we notice high construction activity in areas like Dhari and Sama. You can get a house here for 30 to 40 lakh rupees with rates varying from 2,200 to 4,000 rupees a square foot. The western part of the city is the most developed, and we're seeing more development in places like Gotri, Vadodara and Vasna. Consider the better part of town, prices in western Vadodara are higher and made up primarily of villas and row house projects. Here's a price list of the more prominent places in Vadodara according to CommonFlow. What's more, developers are now looking to cash in with luxury projects in the city centre as well as the outskirts. Targeted mainly at NRI buyers, these projects are priced between 1 crore and 3.75 crore rupees, and that's a jaw-dropping price for a small town. Going forward, Vadodara stands to benefit greatly from the proposed Mumbai-Delhi Industrial Corridor. Large tracts of land will be opened up on both sides of the 6-lane expressway, thus providing new opportunities for the city's property market. The proposed 60,000 crore rupee high-speed rail corridor from Mumbai to Ahmedabad could also change Vadodara's fortunes. The expectation is, if Narendra Modi wins, Vadodara will get even more infrastructure and jobs, with more companies flocking to the city. The realty sector, like any other sector, is betting big on elections. It's hoping a new government will give a booster shot to the economy, consumers' disposable income will improve, and all of that will lead to higher property sales. Manasvi Ghelani takes stock of the pre-election rally in the stock market and the flurry of recent launches, joint ventures and private equity investments that have all flooded the property market.
The expectations from the upcoming general elections is rubbing off on the real estate industry. All realty stocks outperformed the market. The realty index was up by a 30% vis-a-vis Nifty that was up by just a 12% last month. So what is it that's really got the market excited? The party starter was Godrej Properties, and the premier real estate developer continued to remain the ruler. Godrej announced 3 mega townships in Bangalore, Pune and Mumbai each. The Bangalore project is in partnership to develop a 100-acre residential township. Its 18-acre Vikhroli project in Mumbai is through an agreement with Godrej and Boyce. Godrej Properties will act as a development manager and receive a fee equal to 10% of total revenue generated from the development from the group. The company has expressed interest of investing about 400 to 500 crore in the new ventures last quarter. No wonder its stock rallied a 40% between Feb and March. Competing head-on with Godrej in the same markets is Pune-based Kulte Patil, which rallied 42% during the same period. Kulte Patil announced 2 residential projects in Pune and 2 redevelopment projects in Mumbai. The developer will develop 1.5 million square feet spread across 30-acre land parcel it acquired at Konwa in Pune, along with ASK Real Estate Special Opportunities Fund for a whopping 160 crore. Kulte Patil also completed acquisition of 34-acre land worth rupees 350 crore in Pune and expects to generate 1600 crore revenue from the project. In Mumbai, Kulte Patil signed 2 redevelopment projects worth 400 to 450 crore, and this will be a launch in early 2015.
One side which is basically saying I'm sitting on cash at this point of time, which have only a few developers, and they want to basically make use of their money by getting whatever they can at this point of time. They're very hopeful in their mind, if not very sure, that a Narendra Modi government will be basically formed, and the market will basically go into some kind of a irrational exuberance immediately after that. Because for the fundamentals to correct will obviously take time, but as you see, the stock market is already at record highs based on the possibility of this government being formed by the BJP. So that's one part of the it's a small percentage of the market. The larger percentage of the market, which are most developers, are not in the best of financial health. The cash strapped.
And the cash-strapped landowners that managed to cash in some money were the likes of Tata Steel, KEC International and Patel Engineering. Cash-rich Oberoi Realty outbid several top developers in the fray to acquire Tata Steel's 25-acre land parcel in Mumbai's Borivali suburb for a whopping 1,155 crore in an e-auction. KEC International entered into an agreement with Tata Housing for sale of its 7.3 acres freehold land in Thane for 211 crore. Patel Engineering inked a JV with Mumbai-based Kanakya Spaces for its 16-acre property in Mumbai's prime location, Bandra, for about 210 crore. There have been a flurry of activities in the real estate sector in the last 1 month. Joint ventures, project launches, private equity money coming in the sector have all started the market. But is this just the pre-election rally that has got the industry excited?
I don't think the private equity investors are looking for a great timing, or a developer is looking for a great timing of election timing. They are definitely looking for a timing of a distressed valuation of the asset class. So my guess is that today, as we know, that the whole sector is cash deficient. That means the capital starved sector. The banking credit is also diminished. The FDI money is also trickling down quite less. So given that background and the capital raising capability of the fund managers in this environment in last 2 years also have been a big question mark.
Let's be honest, there were transactions that were done in 2009, the height of the asset bubble, which would never be done on a valuation basis on today's basis. They make a 40, 50, 60% discount, right? So maybe people are finding value in the transaction today, and developers are also agreeing that this is a fair valuation.
Real estate sector is clearly indifferent to the election outcome, but not to liquidity that has improved in the last few months.
The 14-15 is going to be a very critical, important, and my guess is that a year which is going to be much more important year for the real estate industry, simply because the global markets have been doing better. Primarily the capital largely comes from US. So they have been improving day by day. A. B. Our currency getting stabilized. And if we are getting a decisive mandate, I think it is clearly that allocation to India, which probably was halted for a long period of time, will start coming again. So it is clearly, I'm expecting a substantial increase in the fundraising scenario, which is in a positive sense, offshore and domestic both.
Improvement in liquidity is the much needed oxygen to bring back life to the real estate sector. Along with economic revival, funds from global investors is the need of the hour. Along with that, if the new government is about to bring in tax clarity with REITs, that will also bring in a couple of more dollars into the sector. In Mumbai, Manasvi Ghelani.
On that note, we're going to slip into a short break. On the other side, away from the elections, Prop Tiger will answer viewer queries on Property Doctor. Stay tuned.